So, which has the acronym CODE. To know more about what CODE is doing, you can visit connecteddevelopment.org. It's one word.
If you don't need that thing, I'll come and switch it off.
You want to know what Follow the Money does and has been doing since 2012, you can go to followthemone.ng.org. I said we advocate, visualize, and track funds that are meant for rural communities. And it started in 2012 by two Nigerians, Hamzat Lawal and Oludotun Babayemi. And presently, we now have lots of expertise in it. We have a network now that includes data journalists, researchers, legal practitioners, development consultants in it, working together for one same goal, which is engaging governments and citizens to create feedback loops between both of them. So when we say we follow funds or we track funds meant for rural communities, you will wonder, funds from who? So there are two kinds of funds that we follow. It's either funds from national government, which is, yes, we call it the federal government. Could be funds from state government, funds from the local government. So the three kinds of governments that we have are the kinds of funds that we follow. Also, we follow international aid spending within Nigeria. So could be multilateral agencies or bilateral agencies, either way. Any one of them is what we follow. So multilateral agencies, which, if we don't know, organizations like the United Nations, United Nations, WHO, the World Health Organization, and bilateral organizations, most of country interventions in other countries. So like you have United States aid, US aid, US aid, you have UK aid, you have CIDA, Canadian International Development Agency. So those are bilateral. So these are the kinds of funds that we follow. So for any one of them, putting funds into these three kinds of funds, it is either health, so capital projects on health, education, and environment. And we have done a whole lot to also break down funds, capital projects that we look at in each thematic area. So just to repeat again, we follow capital projects under health, education, and environment. And I'm sure most of us here, you're here in this hangout because of the health thematic area. Where we look at, yes, capital projects, projects that are meant to buy surgical equipment, funds that are meant to buy drugs and vaccines, to build, construct, innovate primary health facilities. So in either states, local governments, wherever, but it must be in a rural community. So just for you to know that. Then on education, we look at funds meant for books, for building classrooms, for building libraries, for building hostels, and for providing teaching aid schools that are in rural communities. Under environment, we look at funds meant for water projects, boreholes, funds meant to provide forest areas, which is planting of trees. We look at funds that are meant to clean up, some people call it remediate, to clean up communities, remediate communities, and also funds that are meant to buy clean cook stoves, biomass for rural women, for rural communities. So if you look at health, for instance, yes, we follow funds that, okay, National Primary Health Care Development Agency will be putting in to refurbish, to construct health facilities in your various states. We look at funds that the Ministry of Health must have budgeted to provide vaccines in a state like Borno as emergencies of that, especially with the polio vaccines that we're talking about. Yeah, so, and yeah, if it's education, we look at the Ministry of Education funds to provide or to build new libraries in thousands of schools that we have, like UBEC, like secondary schools that we have in Nigeria. So, and if you look at the environment, will be money budgeted by the Ministry of Environment to provide, for instance, clean cook stoves in, for example. And also going back to education would be us looking at the World Bank funds for global education partnership projects. So these are the kinds of funds that and follow the money. This is our own focus. This is where our scope resides in. Yeah. So that is an intro on follow the money. We will. So this is what code follow the money does. I'm not sure if anyone, before we move on to which is how we work and how you can come in as well, it would be nice to see if we will have some questions on the chat box. You can mute your mic. Nice for us to see if we have questions. Have questions at this moment. You can punch it inside the chat box, but not try to talk. Just give us 1 minute if there are any questions on the introduction to follow the money, what we do, what our scope is, and what we focus on. So great. We do not have any question. So we would move on to the slideshow. And yes, we have the workflow. So our workflow is very important to us. And just before we move on, of it is casted on stone, but for every lessons that we learned from every project, every campaign that we do, we review our workflow all the time. So because we delegate duties and we have teams spread around the world, the workflow is very important and dear to us, and we always want to make sure people understand our workflow as much as they understand or understand what follow itself is. So and look at our work processes so that we understand where also you can come in or where interests you as well. On the slide, the next slide after our workflow, actually the workflow is something we've built on for the past 4 years, and we also want communities, we want other countries that are interested in doing follow the money, in engaging governments, in providing feedbacks between governments and citizens to adopt, and tweak. So it will be interesting for us to see communities, countries adopt it and use it and tweak it as well. So if you look at our workflow, basically, it starts from data. Yes. So we have 2 ways follow the money are being initiated, just for us to know. On top of it is the data mining team and sources of data via news. Yes, via news, will be online news, will be paper news. They look radio, they follow budget documents, they look at news from contract documents as well. Yes, to curate the money that we follow. The second part where we initiate follow the money is from our community reporters, which we presently refer to as the CB team. So this team can also send in, pictures, audios, interviews they must have conducted, and share with within the newsroom. There's something we call the news. It's our workflow. So I will be going through the workflow with us, starting from where it starts, which you have. There's a team called the Bullet team. On that note, I would want to invite who is here. That is Tunde Adegoke. He will take us through the data mining team itself. We have 2 teams, the Bullet team and the Grenade team. Sorry, it's not like we are not police, but that is just the name we gave it. So I would give him some space to jump in right now, and he will be talking about the Bullet team, what the Bullet team does. Yes, those 2 teams comprises of people from outside Nigeria. You can work with that team from any part of the world. The work process has been planned. So those 2 teams are where we welcome all over the world, and once he explains it to us, we will probably get a feel of what those 2 teams does. So Tunde, over to you from the bulletin.
We have said already, we are having 2 teams working for the data mining team, and they are the Grenade team and what the Bullet team does is the Bullet team source for information on the internet and also on tender. Actually, not on the internet alone. We have different data sources. We have budgets, news, tenders. That's where we get some of this information about projects that governments already earmarked some particular amount of money for. So what the Bullet team does is to depopulate all the data from the government. And if you look at the bullet document very well, we have already shared it with you. If you look at it very well, you see that on health, education, and environment type of data sets having different type of variables, or let me just say different type of headers. The reason why I'm focusing on health today is because one is collaborating with us on health, and that is why I'm using health to explain everything that I'm basically explaining today to you. And also, after the bullet team must have gotten all the information about data mining, once they have gotten all of their information on the internet, what the bullet team does, find baseline indicators for all the information that the bullet team already does. So every process started with every process starts with the bullet team. Then from the bullet team, it moves on to the grenade team. Then from the grenade team, it moves to the, or you can call them the primary team. So they are the one that usually activates the cartridge team or the community reporters. So basically, we are having data on almost all health facilities in Nigeria. And just in case you guys need any information or any baseline indicators about any health project that you wanted to follow, you can always get to us so we can give you the directions on some of these things. And at the screen that I shared with you earlier. Okay, I would like to show you some of the data that we have over here so you can really see some of these things for yourself. Yeah, link, should I share it? Yeah, guys, the visualization on our health project is here. Make sure I share the screen with you all over here now so you can see it for yourself.
Yes, God created man in his own image and likeness, and endowed him in his own will. How come that man created in his own will?
So, guys, I would like to already showed you the what is on the visualization. So you can always go to this thing on health. And just in case you have any other questions to ask about this, you can always get back to us. So, like I've already said, the Henry, please, can you please mute? Henry, please, can you please mute your mic? So if you look at the bullets very well, you see that we have different. You see that we have different indicators on the health project, which we are on the health data, which we are able to gather from here, which the bullet team were able to gather from here. So you can look to it. You see some of the things that we have already populated there. Grenade. No, I'm starting with bullet. So if you look at the bullet very well, the information started, our processes started from the bullets, and that's why you see that on Earth in the bullets we are having the date get that will publish the information, the incentive, which is what the government wanted to do, the amount in US dollars, the amount in Naira, the town or the villages which the project is to be implemented in. Then the state, the source, also we have the story which backed it up, and also we have the implementing agencies. We have the name of the researcher, the date of collection of the data, and also the link so you can confirm. So basically that is what we do with our bullet team. So what the grenade team does is to look into the bullet and try and find out baseline indicators to with respect to what has already been shared bullets. So literally the process all starts from, then from bullet it moves to the grenade, then from the grenade it moves to the primary team. So basically where you are now determine that, because so there are some people that wanted to join the grenade team or the bullet team as well. So that will be left to us to work on. And if you look at the document that was shared with you earlier, provided you have any questions or ask, or any group that you think you want to join, you can always indicate. So we'll into the process. So I don't know if you have any questions or you have any questions or you have anything to chip in, you can just let me know through the chat box so I can put you through more about that. I'm not sure we have questions or understand what I just said now. Okay. Thank you everybody for having me here today. Dr. will be here now for the next presentation.
Hello.
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 Hello. Good morning.
Okay, so we are about continuing the other side. Please, if you're in, once you get in, it would be nice for us to mute, please. Their mic. Okay. So would be nice for us to mute our mic immediately we get in, and mute also our microphone. Great. So I would, I'm sure most of us by now would have seen some of the documents that was that's been shared using the link. The one in which the first people that are working with Follow the Money, which is the team that looks for money that are meant for communities. We call them the Bullet team. And the link to where you see the documents they work on is on is being shared in the already in the chat box, so you can look at it and you will get a feel of what that team does. They are the first point on the data mining team. Afterwards, them is the Grenade team that looks at baseline indicators, communities that has been included on the documents that is being shared by the Bullet team. So that was what Tunde was trying to talk about. So you have the Bullet team, you have the Grenade team. The Grenade team are second on the hierarchy of the Follow the Money that we do. They look at all baseline indicators. So for example, the health, if you look at the health tab on the Follow the Money Bullet spreadsheet, which has NPHCDA going for the refurbishing of primary healthcare or for construction of healthcare, the Grenade team will look at where the PHC is, and they populate baseline indicators of that particular primary healthcare. So that was what he was trying to explain. So the first team, which is the Bullet team, use sources for documents that highlights money meant for meant to build primary healthcare, meant to provide vaccines, while the second team, the Grenade, looks at the communities populated by the Bullet team and the baseline indicators. You might want to ask, why baseline indicators? The team that follows, the lead investigators, use such baseline indicators, make judgments to decide on what we call Follow the Money campaigns. For instance, if we have 5 PHCs in a particular community, they look at the baseline indicators for the 5 communities, looking at, for example, number of beds. So they look at the health facility that has the least number of beds, and they use that to start a campaign, because we cannot do campaign for all the 5 in a particular state, but we might want to do just one. So they look at that and use the indicator. So the PHC with the least indicator will be their priority as a lead investigator. I will move from the Green team. So if you want to join the team, there is the link on the slide that was shared with us. Please go through it. You can specify that you want to join through followthemoneyng.org/join us, and the team leads, their email is on top. They will they should get back to you, but you can email them using the subject that is there, and they would get back to you as well. So feel free to join any of the 2 teams if you want to join, which we always for us to join. The third team is the Cartridge team. The Cartridge team is the team that works on the freedom of information. So why the Cartridge team? The lead investigators that does verification of the Bullet team, they review documents on the bullet spreadsheet and on the grenade spreadsheet. If there's any information missing or any information that they need, they would email the cartridge team, which is the FOI team, a freedom of information request to the implementing agency, or maybe there's a contractor involved, for them to give information on the particular interest, the bullet spreadsheets. So we have the cartridge team that works on every of our. Sometimes this team is not open to people that are outside of the office. They are based in the office because they initiate letters from the office. But yeah, they engage community reporters, which we call the civil team, in their various states to help them follow up on letters. So if you look at the cartridge spreadsheet, it has certain variables. You can click on the link and you will see some of the variables they look at: when the letter was sent, when the response was gotten. So if you're to start follow the money in your community as well and ask questions, normally, just for you to know, on the law, which was the 2011 Act, agencies are supposed to respond to your letters within 7 days, not more than 7 days. But truthfully, with some of the freedom of information letters we've sent out, several gotten much more than 7 days. But we make sure we track the letters by the 3rd day, by the 7th day. What we mean by that is the cartridge team goes to the office of the implementing agency or the contractor in charge after the 3rd day, then after the 7th day, where and what is happening on the information that we've requested for. In some cases, it could go as much as months, but we make sure, so afterwards, then every Wednesday, we are in their office to get to know where the letter is. We will respond just to get an update, because you can't just send letters and just stay. So for some of us that will be doing that in our various states, it is important that we also know. And if you look at the cartridge spreadsheets, just by clicking on the link on the, you can just click on the link spreadsheet that was on the slide that was shared, and you will see how how the spreadsheet looks like. So you can see some sample letters, acknowledged letters that we always send to some implementing agencies. So the lead investigators are the ones that do talk to the cartridge team so that they can have more information other than the one that has been imputed by the bullet team or by the grenade team. But what we've done is with the bullet team and the grenade team, it means that, or we might not need to be sending freedom of information letters all the time. So it's not as if we do, the grenade team always uses the FOI, because what the bullet team and grenade team has done is to break down the information for us. So like I said, the grenade team is the situated and not outside of the office. Then we have the lead investigators. These are the team that does verification. They do review the bullet spreadsheets and the grenade spreadsheets. They also look at the cartridge spreadsheets. And so it is all this data they use decisions, especially for our campaigns. They have a timeline which is for every quarter they are supposed to run 6 campaigns. We will talk about what a campaign envisage as we go along, and they have a criteria for choosing whichever campaign they have decided. So if you click on the link which has followed using the following criteria, if you're on the slide that was shared with us, where you have the page of the lead investigators. So there's a criteria they follow, and on that criteria is one which is availability of data, which is very key. And the kind of data they look at is the baseline indicators, which my colleague has already mentioned. Like I explained, you can have on the bullets 10 PHCs in one state, but the availability of indicators will allow the lead investigator to be able to pick out of the 10 data that we have, to pick the one with the least indicator earlier on. One is the number of beds in a PHC. So they use this to make for campaigns that we run. And most of the campaigns that we run are the campaigns that we hashtag. I'm sure some of us are familiar with some of our hashtags, like you see Save Shakira, you see Save Bagega. So they pick from this and use one of part of the work of the lead investigators as well is to with our community reporters for them to also go on ground, to go and do interviews, to go and do video interviews, to go to communities to sign petitions as well. So they are the ones that make decision. And just like I said earlier on, if we need more information, they talk to the CATRI team to write an FOI letter to request for more information. They also lead some of the community outreaches to states and communities. So if we are working in any states, if we've decided on any campaign, they are the ones that do go to communities, lead with the community reporter in that community to go into the community. These are some of the roles. And just like I said, when community reporters send in information, they are the ones that verify such information. They have different tools, they have different ways of verifying. One is they talk to someone on ground in that state to go and verify what the community reporter has sent in. They verify what is on the data. So if the bullet team must have added something, if the grenade team has added, okay, this is the number of beds in this community, they go to the community reporters in that state to go and find out in the healthcare center, is it true that this is the number of beds, so that they have a baseline, what is obtainable in that healthcare before they start running the campaign. They verify photos. Yes, they can verify photos using tineye.com. Yes, tineye.com is you can use in verifying pictures. So some people are excited and they send in photos. So most times, most of the photos they send in are photos that have already been used somewhere. So, but with tineye.com, you can use that to verify. It tells you once you upload the picture on tineye.com, it will the picture was taken from online. You can also use Google Images. They call it reverse image verification. You can use Google Images where you can upload such photo, and Google will tell you where the photo was gotten from and how long the photo has been in use. So these are some of the methods that the lead investigators use in verifying some of the data that they've gotten already. So I quickly move to the civil team. They are the community reporters, and most of my interest presently we have a number of 61 located in 27 states of the country. So the role of that, yes, I mentioned, they are on top of our hierarchy. So if they see any information or they've heard of any information for their states, to our newsroom. Our newsroom is embedded on WhatsApp, so it's a WhatsApp disaggregated newsroom. It is being disaggregated by region. So we have community reporters from the 6 regions of the country sending information into that group, and the data mining team picks that information, find more information about the information they've sent. So that is one of the role of the community reporters. They are in their states, they listen to radio, they get information from the state tenders, from some states newsprints, wherever they get it from. In the state news channels as well is one way they look at it, and they send it into the group. Then the data mining team picks it up and they crunch out all the information and put them. So it still goes back to the lead investigators who still verify it. And if it's something interesting to them, the lead investigators, and say, come, this is what the data mining team has gotten out of the information you sent in. Do you want to go back on where the place is and verify so that we can start around what you've sent in? Also, the community reporters lead on community outreach. At times, the lead investigators don't join them. At times, they are the ones leading it. So they lead community outreaches, and what we call community outreach is when they go to the specific primary health that is involved. They go to, so in case of education, they go to the school involved. In case of environment, that's involved. They go to, so in education, they go to the school. So they talk to community members. They talk to the head of medicals in that particular primary care. They take videos and audio. They record audio or video. So they document this and they share it with their lead investigators. Okay, so they share it with the lead investigation. So most times, the civil team, which we call community reporters, work hand in hand with our lead investigators. If you want to bring, there's the link which you can, and you can sign up as a community reporter. Then you can email the community reporter, Once you do that, they send you a code of conduct. So for every one of us in the Follow the Money team, we sign a code of conduct. So for every one of us in the Follow the Money team, of conduct, and for anyone interested in being a community reporter as well. And for anyone interested in being a community reporter, so they sign a code of conduct, and that's that's what of conduct. And they are embedded in a WhatsApp group whereby they share information in real time. With data miners as well, and with the whole team as well. At the end of these documents, you would also need some of our community reporters. It would be nice for you to look at So the last team that we have is the Revolver team. These are the team that looks at news. So they create news. They create some of our illustration on any projects that we're working on. They create news out of the bullets, out of the grenade, out of the cartridge. They create news for the Follow the Money radio. They create news for the Follow the Money magazine as well. So where the production team lies in, they are the ones that does all the documentation and produce for whatever audience we are looking at on Facebook, on Twitter. This is where you also have our social media team that tweets about some of the information that is in the bullets. And also this is where we have our illustrator. This is where we have the radio team. So this is the whole team of Follow the Money, and that is what we do. So it is important, which is the essence of having this training, for us all to look at the documents. If you're interested in any of the team, and I'm sure most of us in the different states we are, if you're interested in joining the community reporter team, would be nice for you to look at the civil team and go to followthemoneyng.org/join us. That is where you can join in. Immediately you sign up, someone will get in touch with you. For instance, if you're a community reporter, yes, they welcome you. You also have quotation for community reporters for you to know what exactly you're supposed to be doing, which is a repetition of this training that we're doing by community reporting. If it's the bullet team, yes, there's someone that will welcome you. No, the data mining team, and they ask you if you want to join the team mining money for communities, or the team that looks for baseline indicators. So you can look at the references. So on the references, introduction, which is a presentation slide on what Follow the Money is, which we already explained at first. You have the Follow the Money workflow, which is what we have just talked about. We have a publishing guideline for lead investigators and community reporters. Yes, we have the Follow the Money platform is a platform that welcomes opinion. All our team members, the community reporters, so whatever you think, your insights into what goes into states, various states could be published, but you need to read that publishing guide. the community outreach guide, which is the guide that allows you as a community reporter, when you are going into communities, when you are going into beneficiaries' territories, to know what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to wear, what you're supposed to ask. It also allows you to know, okay, when do you do stakeholders engagements between the community reporter and the lead of investigators does as well. So you lead on a stakeholders meeting as well. So this guide you as a community reporter as well. Yes. So what to know, if we have questions, would be nice for us to take in questions at this moment. If you've been part of this session, would be nice we see. And yeah, you can copy what's on the last slide and tweet about it, just to thank One in Africa for providing this platform for us to engage you and for us to review some of these workflows and what we do with you guys. We have heard that there were challenges in people getting onto the platform. That is why it's an Hangout and it's YouTube Live. The video will be available on YouTube in the link that we first shared with people. So it would be nice to go back and look at that. And if you have any questions on this, would be nice to also let us know. But most importantly, would be nice for you to go and look at our Join Us page, so that we can always have this conversation also via WhatsApp and via other means. I'm very sure we'll have another session on this again, so that people that are not able to join us in this session or could join us in the next session, but we are sure the video will be live on YouTube, so all of us can have access to it as well. So on that note, I will say thank you, but so we will need to get questions, what your thoughts are before we the sessions. So if you have any question, this is the right time for us to ask questions about this session. And like we said, this will be available on YouTube live. So please, if you have a question, you please punch it inside the chat group so that we can see who wants to ask question, so that we can even get you on video and let us hear yeah, we saw so Philip is saying we should send the link to the YouTube for future viewing. I'm sure it takes 3 hours for YouTube to get it live to you. So we'll share the YouTube live video with you all so that you see. It will be available in the next 3 hours so that you can see a full version of this video as well. Thank you, Philip. Do we have any insight from any other person watching us or listening to us? right now. So we have just 1 minute to take in questions from the presentation that we have sent.
I have a question.
Go ahead, please. Who said he has a question? Can you please go ahead with your question? Okay, actually, we are looking for people that do have questions. So if you have questions, this is the time for us to quickly respond back to your questions. And 2 minutes to do this. Mike, you can please mute your mic because yes, thank you very much. So please, if you have questions, you can put it in the chat box. Who has questions on the slide that we've shared on this particular video session? But if we don't have, if you don't have a question, we can just call it a day. So yes, we have a question. We have 2 questions. Yes, Philip is saying, do you get intimidated? Do you get intimidated when exposing funds allocated? Well, maybe we've had instances that we have exchanged, words have been exchanged and implementing ministries. Even while we started in 2012, with men of SSS, ministers, and some other ones. But we have had much more partnerships than intimidation. So Like presently, we are in partnership with the Ministry of Environment, who has opened their hands, and yes, we collaborate on some of followings that we do. Also, just recently, the Ministry of Education opened their arms to us, and we're tracking SDG funds that are embedded within the Ministry of Education. So yeah, these are and this are some of the reasons why we started Follow the Money, which is in essence is to encourage citizen participation, also get governments and citizens to engage, and yeah, strengthen their partnership. It should be a two-way thing. Government should know what people are saying and know what the government is saying. So it's also part of intimidation, is part of the game. So yeah, we do get intimidated as well. We had another question from Michael, who just got in. He's asking for the slide. We already shared the slide with everyone. So, and I'm sure in the chat box, we have already shared this with everyone. So I think on this note, we would.
Sorry, excuse me.
I'm not sure. Okay, go ahead if you have a question.
This is Celestina, but I think there are some other questions in the chat box that people have asked, which have not been attended to.
Go ahead.
For instance, Vicky's question. So have you seen the, so for you to attend to some of those questions before we call it close?
So can we get the question, because I'm not sure.
Okay, so Vicky was asking about some of the challenges that you guys have faced in implementing the Follow the Money. And for Christian's question, he was asking if Saving 1 Million Lives project is one of the projects that you guys are tracking presently. Questions. And now,
can you take the second question again? I didn't get that.
First question is from Vicky, asking some of the challenges that you guys have faced in implementing the Follow the Money.
Okay.
And the second one is from Christian, asking if the Saving 1 Million Lives project of the Federal Ministry of Health is one of the projects you guys are currently tracking.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, just to answer that, challenges, yes. So one of the challenges is, I will tell you about organizational challenges. It's difficult for you to get people that are not partisan, that are not religiously motivated religiously, or that do not have a side to a particular religion or to a particular political party. So be partisan and we are non-political. So at first, at the organizational level, there's a challenge of who you are talking to, who is within the team. You can't talk to everyone because you are on a course that does not focus on both. Second was, actually, these are some of our learnings, so different from other people. We tried doing a civil society kind of partnership with some CSOs in other states. We found out that it was difficult for us to implement Follow the Money, doing it that way. We might be wrong, but I'm saying that this is in which we partner with a CSO. We go on ground. Remember that they are in the States. And when we publish report tweeting about such campaign, the CSO or the NGO that we are partner come back to us and say, oh, our partnership with the state government is going to the waters. They've told, we started this, and we didn't tell, they didn't tell them that this was how it's going to be, and we have started exposing them. In essence, most state CSOs get funding from state governments, and so when we initiate some of these campaigns, it becomes difficult for them to get funding from those state governments anymore, because the state governments see them as yes, perhaps in quotes, enemies of the government. So that was why we needed to look at it, okay, as an individual thing. We need organizations that do have the same ideology that we portray before we can achieve some of these things. So it makes it a big challenge for us. Another one is insecurity. Insecurity is also one of in this where we could have activated. So like the Save Bama campaign, there's a big challenge of insecurity. How do we get to Bama? Who is ready to go to Bama? So because we will not be able to go through organizations like the UN that has approval from the government to go into Bama. So you need to go through your own known way. Challenge is the availability of data. We go extra mile to get the kind of data that suits our work. And because data is on the is the first stage of the work we do, it makes it so challenging and difficult to proceed if you look at the follow the money process. So some of the challenges that we have, then if I remember anyone, I could get to you. One of the other challenges that we have anyways might be also funding, but thanks to all the partners that believed in us, in what we do, and they've been able to fund us a little bit on what we do. Just to go to the second question, which is Save 1 Million Lives. Yes, we are following the Save 1 Million Lives. Immediately it was announced, and our freedom of information letters everywhere. It's already with the Minister of Health. We are expecting his response, but just like we said in our workflow, the freedom of information to get information is just one way. We have other information. So presently, we know that, okay, there are other 5 states officially on their state website that has been announced that they got this funding. And we've also had someone who shared some pictures with us and showed us how all the states have gotten their funding. So for us, we will be going, and for some of you that want ambassadors, we will be deciding on the states to run the campaign. So now, whether the minister likes or not, if he doesn't give us an answer to how much the states have gotten, we only needed an official statement, how much they've gotten, the plan that they've submitted to share it with us, because ordinarily before they get the $1.5 million funding. So, but yes, so we wanted to know that, but we have not gotten information, but that doesn't stop us. So we're shifting to the states. So let's get what the states are saying, or what they will say, or how they also, we already talking about health. If you look at the bullet, we already have, we will be following their funds for. So this now concerns the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, which we will be following bumper to bumper on how these funds will be used in some of this primary. So, so that's my answer to you. And yeah, to the two questions. I hope I answered your question. Thank you. Does anyone has questions, insights, or comments again before we call it a day?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Chika, go ahead if you have a question.
Okay. Okay, so on the training so far, I think it's quite impactful. We actually had hitches in following through, but with the promises having a substance. What I think that's it.
Chika, you were breaking up along the line. You said which?
Okay, but you can hear me clearly now.
Yes.
Okay, I said I was just going to compliment you, follow the money for this training. We had hitches following through throughout the training process, but at least from the little I've been able to grab, and with the promise of a one-on-one meeting subsequently, I think it should go a long way.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank you
for that, Chika. Who else do we have? So, 12 o'clock by our time. We can see that some people are just joining, but we are already rounding up. Felicia, can you mute your mic? Okay, so on that note, we want to say thank you for joining us. We will have, just as promised, yes, we will have another session, and also look forward to the link where the live video will be shared with everyone. So that we can continue this. And don't forget, it would be nice for you to join us. Conversations continue on our WhatsApp group. So do well to join any of the team. Back to you. Thank you so much for your time. We will link with everyone. Bye from here, and see you all some other time.
Apparently, it's time to leave.
CannonsTV.com is your most trusted news website.
You did it about 59. Bird said you said, yeah. Yeah.